My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. And always got some seasoning ready to go. Got it right beside me at all times. Keep it in my backpack. Keep it on my desk. But man, we're so excited for this Monday edition. Austin, it's week 0, and as silly as week 0 is, we actually can say there is college football this week, and it's actually going to happen. Dude, we are going to be able to sit down and watch college football this week. We finally made it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I saw a post. We're recording this on Monday. I saw a post on Saturday. It said it's the last Saturday of the year that we're not going to have college football. And man, it did something to my heart, man. That felt so good to say, to read, to hear. And man, I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming. I know for Mississippi State fans, it's been a very long off season. And yeah, dude, I'm ready to get back in the swing of things, man. Get the Saturdays planned out, what we're going to do, where we're going to go. I'm excited to be back in Davis Wade, getting to see if Zach Selman's been working out anything other than the lights, but I'm so excited for that. But man, week 0, I'm going to be locked in. I'm so excited.
You know what's funny is as I was looking through, I mean, it's just so funny how like Mississippi State and other teams as well that had bad seasons last year, just because of how crazy everybody is over college football, there's people talking themselves into like Mississippi State making a bowl game or like their team that's not very good. Like everybody has hope right now, and the hope is kind of off the charts. And it's just it was so fun. I almost tweeted about it yesterday. I just thought it was so funny. People are like, you know what, man? Like we might actually end up going 6-6. Here comes 7-5. Mississippi State was 2-10 last year. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was so funny. Just kind of captures how crazy college football fans are. That are maybe delusional. Is delusional the better word?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we have so much time to just think and just, perceive, how we have no idea how Jerron Manning's really going to play. He might be really good. He might be really bad. We have no idea. I sent you a little thing that said like April, May, June, July, August. It said, I miss college football. I miss college football. And then by September, they're like, I hate this team. And I swear for Mississippi State fans, they feel that especially. I know there's been countless years where I'm like, we could go 9-3 this year. And then we end up going 6-6. 7-5, and then this year after a 2-10 season, it's hard to have we don't know where our ceiling is going to be. We have no idea. I mean, a lot of people are saying our ceiling is 6-6. If we go 6-6, man, I'm feeling great. So man, it's just it's a whirlwind of emotions for Bulldog fans.
If State ends up going 4-4, they will have exceeded Las Vegas's their expectations. They think that State's 3.5 wins. So, is your over under. But we're going to get to a couple of things today. Honestly, we won't even really be talking as much Mississippi State because there's really not a ton of news that from the last week. So today, Monday, is when they've had some practices for media. However, today was a walkthrough day, so no media availability today. At the time of recording this, it has not been recorded if there's going to be any tomorrow or the rest of the week. I'm sure there'll be some sort of opportunity, but yeah, it's so locked down right now that it's hard to find any sort of information. And I don't know, it's an interesting kind of thing because on one hand you're like no distractions, we stay focused. On the other hand, like isn't this a team that probably could use a little buzz? Like doesn't it help out with that? So we will whatever news we'll get, we'll talk a lot more about Mississippi State specifically later in the week, but also, keep your eye on an interview with Heath Riles coming soon. Heath Riles Barbecue, of course, the presenting sponsor of MyDawgsPod. Especially as the football season is gearing up, we got to make sure we have all of our grilling supplies kind of handy. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But we will talk about kind of week 0 for college football this week. Again, it is officially official. It's happening this week. With week 1 being the week where there's actually some really good matches. But as you point out, there's a couple of good games this weekend. Then I do want to talk about Alabama. We'll talk about them. They had some news come out this week and some of their expectations for that. And we'll talk just kind of around the SEC, some expectations for all teams, because we're about to get to the point, Austin, where there's no more expectations. Like we're just going to be doing it. So I'm very excited about that. But first, I want to let you know that this episode and every episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Heath Riles Barbecue. Heath Riles, grill with confidence, season like a pro. Heath's products, they're home to award-winning rubs, seasonings, glazes, sauces, marinades, injections, you name it, Heath has it. And here's the thing, they're available at over 15,000 retailers nationwide, Lowe's, Walmart, Kroger, Academy, I mean, like you name it, Heath's products are there. But here's the deal, we'll save you some cash. You don't feel like getting out of the house, no worries. Just go to HeathRowsBarbecue.com and enter promo code DOGS10 at checkout to get 10% off each and every time, just for being a listener of our show. And if you're going to try anything, if you're going to do anything at all, I'm going to give you a pro tip. If you're doing ribs, or if you're going to do like a smoked butt, do the competition rub. It is the competition rub is literally the things he has won cash with using, and it's my favorite. It's the thing I get compliments on the most, is using his rub for that. Also, the Cajun Creole garlic butter is really, really good on wings. Just try Heath stuff. You will not regret it. Again, Dogs10 at checkout. DAWGS 10.
Yeah, man, if you're looking for a brand new hat, look no further. Hovey Hats got you covered. They got high quality headwear that you will have your friends asking about, man. You see Landon rocking it. You see me rocking the Hovey hats, man. So take a look at their collection of Mississippi State hats at HoveyDryGoods.com. Hovey offers limited edition hats in small batches, bringing a fresh look to some of your favorite teams. But go check out that Mississippi State section. They got some great stuff. But grab your new favorite hat at HoveyDryGoods.com. That is HoveyDryGoods.com. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely do that, man. It's seems like every single little clip they show of Jeff Lebby, he's wearing a Hovey hat, and like in the little clip. So he's a fan of Hovey. You got to be a fan of Hovey as well, especially as football season rolls along. And look, Jeff's probably doing that, man. He's always seems to have some energy. Jeff, I really feel like he's always kind of keeping the levels up. He must be getting some caffeine. He must be going to ARPA's in the heart of the Cotton District. ARPA's, man, they understand. Jose and his family, a local business owner, understand that great food and great drinks are best enjoyed in the company of friends and loved ones. They're awesome, and warm, inviting atmosphere is a great backdrop for laughter, conversation, shared memories. And here's the deal: whether you're seeking a great spot to catch up with a friend over coffee, delicious coffee, if I might add, or kind of a lively gathering spot to celebrate a special occasion, man, ARPA's has you covered. It's located in the heart of the Cotton District, the best part of Starkville. And man, you don't want to miss it. And here's the deal: every time you go, you can get 15% off just for being a listener of the show. Say, hey, can I get that 15% off MyDawgsPod discount? Or just say, hey, I'm a listener of MyDawgsPod. And you get 15% off today, tomorrow, the next day, every day you go. And it's going to be worth it, because it's always a great day at ARPA's. On game day, it's bananas in there. So if you don't have time to do that, look, pro tip, go early in the morning. Go ahead and get yourself some coffee before the crowd comes. Get some money off as well, and you certainly will not regret it. So, Austin, as we look for this week, one of the things I did want to mention, well, actually, I'm going to mention something that's not for this Saturday, but next Saturday. I can't wait to talk about it. So Texas is a team. I have not picked them to be my national champion. I have another team in the SEC. I think LSU is going to win it all. But Texas is picked by a lot of people to win the national championship. And they're the number one ranked team in the nation. However, it's kind of almost a rare twist. Number one, Texas is lined up currently as a 2.5-point underdog to Ohio State in week 1. Listen to this, making them the first ranked team to open as an underdog since data tracking began in 1978. But it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, Ohio State's also absolutely loaded going forward, and it's in Columbus. So any thoughts about Texas and Ohio State to start off the season? And also, it's at 11 a.m. Man, to start off the college football season, you get a phenomenal game.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm so excited about that for sure. But I think they got it spot on. I pick Ohio State to win this game. Julian Saying today was announced the starting quarterback. I think that's a great choice. I've been really high on this guy ever since he was a 5-star coming out of college and coming out of high school. I was really, really excited to see him play, and now we're getting to see him play. So it's really, really exciting times. And Arch Manning is a guy who's not. He hasn't played a lot of football. Julian Sayin hasn't played almost any football. So we really don't know what we're going to get out of these two QBs. But if I look at everywhere else, man, Jeremiah Smith, he's thrown to guys like Jeremiah Smith. They reloaded in the running back room too. Chip Kelly, obviously still a great play caller for them, for the Buckeyes. And then Ryan Day with that defense, man. They had such a good defense. They lost their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, but they got a really good brand new defensive coordinator, man. This is a really good team. And then Texas, man, right there. I think they're picked to win the national championship by most big people in the media. But I got Ohio State week 1. I just think that they overall, you look at the coach, you look at the coordinators, you look at the players, and if you're not looking at the QB, I think Ohio State wins almost every single box. And I really like that. And man, I got the Buckeyes, but it is really weird that they're putting Texas number 1 and they're not favored to win the first game. That is really weird. But hey, man, I really do think they got it right.
I mean, I got to tell you, we'll talk about it more next week. But I think they got it wrong. I think Texas is going to end up winning that game because of the running game. Ohio State lost two great rushers that really helped out the offense, and this is Julian Sands' first, first kind of go round. Arch Manning, I mean, he's been in big situations before. He's been to Starkville. He knows what it's like. I mean, he hadn't played in Starkville. He's just he's driven through it pretty quick. No, but like when you think about kind of the matchup, I feel like Texas has got that game, and it's going to really, really help them out going forward. The other game I did want to talk about just really briefly and this is August the 30th, but it has to do with something today. Tennessee mentioned that Joey Aguilar is the new starting quarterback for them. They actually open week 1 against Syracuse, who is not a pushover by any means. And I got to be honest with you, I'm going to talk about Mississippi State for just a second, Austin. You can go back and look on this show a month and a half ago when you were gone in the summer. So I'm sitting here talking to myself. I said the one SEC game I think Mississippi State can win is Tennessee. And I'm going to tell you something. Nobody was saying it. I didn't hear anybody saying it. In the last week and a half, I have seen that everywhere. Everywhere. And so now I look like I'm copying, and now I'm starting to not believe it because I'm like, well, shoot, now everybody thinks it's going to happen. But Tennessee, it is very, very underwhelming at quarterback. I mean, what Appalachian State were they 5-7 last year? Or no, I tell you what, I think Aguilar was 5-6 as a starter, is what it was. So it's not like he's like lighting the world on fire. Austin, how is Tennessee going to do? And are too many people getting on that train thinking the State's going to upset them?
You know, I saw something today somewhere. It was somebody, I forgot who but he's a legit guy in the media, and he had us beating Tennessee. And I looked because I was like, I wonder what the comment section looking like. It was a bunch of people tagging Tennessee fans, and they're like, man, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Tennessee fans were mad under that post. And man, I don't know. Tennessee fans, they've had a rough 10 years, but the last 4 or 5 years have been like Josh Heupel has just absolutely been amazing. But I feel like they've started to, act like they're like a top 10, team, every year, which they're not. And I think this year they're going to get a little bit punched in the mouth. I don't know if they're going to get punched in the mouth by us, but I think everybody knew Joey Aguilar was going to be the starting quarterback. But how good is he really going to be with Josh Heupel? If you would have told me last year, hey, Nico's going to go to the transfer portal and this guy's going to be your starter, I wouldn't have believed you. I feel like Josh Heupel could have had a better quarterback in the portal, but I know all that stuff happened last second. They were thinking Joey was going to be a backup, but still, I mean, it's really weird to think that this guy is going to be their starting quarterback for Josh Heupel, who's always had an explosive offense. So maybe this is just a rebuilding year for him, and if so, that's okay. But I don't know. I mean, they're not going to win 10 games this year like probably Tennessee fans think they are.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking at it. Yeah, he went 5-6 last year at Appalachian State. Now, there's a ton more talent that he has with this team. And also, I mean, look, Josh Heupel is really good offensively at figuring things out. Like they will be fine overall. But I just thought it's going to be really, really interesting. Now, for this week, we actually have a game that's happening this week in week 0 in good old Dublin, Ireland. Kansas State is taking on Iowa State, and they're in Dublin. That's going to be really interesting, Austin, for several reasons. That's the Farmageddon, I think, is what they call that, typically speaking. But this is Farmageddon across the world kind of thing. But it's 11 a.m. kick in this matchup. Last season, Iowa State won 29-21, but it was there in Ames, so really, really far away. But this is at the given moment, I think it's the only ranked game that's taking place this weekend. And at the moment, Kansas State is favored by 3.5 points over Iowa State. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know enough about Iowa State. I don't know enough about Kansas State, other than another quarterback from last season. But that's really it. But it's ranked football. Obviously, you're going to watch it, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think they got that right. I really like Kansas State in this one. I think Chris Kleiman has a great team. Avery Johnson, I think he was a 4-star coming out of high school, very, very highly touted quarterback. Last year, he really didn't deliver. I thought he was going to be a much better quarterback. Last year he was really named the starter week 1. It was his team going forward, and he really didn't deliver too much, but now he has another year under his belt. He's seen a lot of football now. And I really think Kansas State has a great chance of winning their conference this year and maybe potentially going to the playoff maybe, but they got to get past the Iowa State team, who every year I feel like they're very sneaky. No one ever talks about Iowa State, but they're usually in the top 25 most years. So it really could go either way. But I like Kansas State. I like Avery Johnson, and I really, really like Chris Kleiman. So give me Kansas State. I like that.
One of the teams in the SEC, we're going to switch up and just kind of talk on around the SEC this week. That's being talked about is Alabama. So Kalen DeBoer, they're in his second season in Tuscaloosa, and their scrimmage got him excited about the defensive progress and some of the depth that's there in the backfield for Alabama. However, there's a concern for the kicking game, which seems to be kind of a consistent thing with Alabama, and also freshman Dijon Lee's getting some first team reps, but Connor Talty's been kind of struggling in the kicking game. What do you make of Alabama, Austin, going into this season? Because the defense, I feel like a lot of people believe the defense is going to be really, really solid, really locked in, because there's a lot of good players on that side of the ball. But the offense is going to be kind of a different question. Jam Miller, who is looked to be their starting quarterback, was injured in the scrimmage. He's going to be out for their first game against Florida State. I don't really think they're going to have a lot of trouble against Florida State, but what do you make about? Actually, here's the better question: what's the worst record that Alabama can have without their fans going crazy?
Ooh, without their fans going crazy, man. If they can go 11-1 and their fans are going to go crazy. I've lived in Alabama my whole life. I was born in Mississippi, but I've lived in Alabama my entire life. And I'm just letting you know right now, you've lived in Tuscaloosa for 12 years. I lived there for a year and a half, and I know that these Alabama fans, if they're not 12-0 by the end of the regular season, it was a failure. And but to be honest, if they go 10-2, they beat Georgia. I think it's a win. It's a good year, to be honest. Just looking at it, I really like this Alabama team. And one thing that I've really learned from Alabama every time that I think they're going to have a down year is never underestimate them. Ever, ever, ever. Ty Simpson, it's never been his team. I think he started one game this whole year. I think he started the UCF game last year, a USF game last year, but I think that was his only career start. So he's only started one game. And it's a huge question mark, but man, you never underestimate the Tide. If you're praying for their downfall, man, they're gonna show up. They're gonna show up, and like you said, they got a great defense, brand new offensive coordinator. I think Ryan Grubb's there from Seattle, who was with them in Washington. So, and they had some great offense in Washington. So honestly, with potentially how Ty Simpson plays, I think potentially this offense can be better. And I really think that they can be a better team than they were last year. Kalen DeBoer's second year in Tuscaloosa. So, the lights aren't as bright as they were last year. I like this Alabama team. I really do. I really think they're going to lose one or two games that they weren't supposed to. Last year, obviously, they were supposed to beat the heck out of Vandy. They were supposed to beat the heck out of Oklahoma, and they ended up losing those games. I think that's going to happen once or twice. I don't know which games, but I really see them dropping a game or two where they were like, man, everybody had Alabama winning.
And a part of it though was Jalen Milroe. Like, because of his play style, they weren't able to play that same style of offense that he had at Washington. He just didn't have the accuracy at quarterback, and some of the decision making wasn't always great. Like, athleticism wise, I went back and watched the LSU game. He almost single handedly beat LSU last year because of his legs, which is unbelievable as an athlete. However, Ty Simpson, it remains to be seen if he can make better decisions. But if he can at least be somewhat of a game manager while the defense really does well, and then just kind of get the ball out in space because you have several playmakers at wide receiver, and now who can step up at running back. They have several really good running backs too after Jam Miller. So I think they'll be fine. And look, I know there are some people that are like, man, I started it. I was like, well, what if they whatever. Alabama's going to be fine. Alabama is going to do really well, and I would not be surprised at all. Honestly, I'd be shocked if they were not in the college football playoff this upcoming season. I think they'll be fine for week one. I did want to let people know that if you didn't watch the show last year, so during game week, we'd have kind of a series where we would kind of pick the games, but we try to be deliberate with it. Like, you don't want to go over. We're not picking some random game. Austin and I each have kind of what we think is the upset of the week, the underdog of the week. And Austin had a stretch last season where he went 5-0 in underdogs, like in a race. His underdog pick of the week won 5 straight weeks, and overall his record was better than me. So we're gonna go 1v1 again. Austin, what do you think about what if we had some sort of competition? Like, what if we competed and whoever had the better record by the end of the year was a winner, and the loser had to do something?
I like that. Yeah, we need to work that out before next week. So
Yeah,
I think
before
that's a
we
great
agree on
idea.
it, we'll both have to
Yeah,
agree on the terms.
yeah, no,
But
I agree. Let's sit down, think of some stuff and get it
yeah,
squared away, get the paperwork finalized on it and
yeah,
stuff. And
we'll
we'll
get
get the
the lawyers and
I was
we'll
gonna
get
say
the
I was gonna
lawyers
we can get the
involved.
lawyers involved.
We'll do
We
whatever
were
we need
thinking
to do.
alike, but no. Yeah,
Okay.
we can we can do it for sure.
So there's two other SEC teams I want to talk about. One of them we'll talk about after the break, but this one can't really wait. So Ole Miss coming into this season, after such a great year last year, and all the hype is around Austin Simmons. And honestly, I'm tired of using the word hype because I'm just ready to just kick the ball off. We've talked about it I'm just so tired of talking about it. But on this show, we hadn't really gone around and talked about like what does each week look like. And honestly, Austin, looking at Ole Miss's schedule, there's some tough games that are in there, especially towards that kind of that latter half of the year. But like LSU, well, they have to go on the road at Georgia. What do you make about this Ole Miss team? And is there a potential, because there are people who are reporting for the limited access they have that this wide receiver group could even be better than the one last year. And Trey Harris was so good and also so consistent. It seemed like he never dropped the ball. But in terms of but he was just kind of one player. It seems like not just Caden Lee, but there's all these other guys that can get involved with Ole Miss's offense this season, and hopefully able to run the ball a little bit better. Is there a particular floor? So like, what's the worst do you think Ole Miss can fall to this season? Because I don't think they're gonna, like, what's the lowest amount of wins you'd give them?
Oh, I really
Hold
think
on, I can. You want me to pull up the schedule? I got the schedule in front of me.
actually, I'm looking at it as
Oh,
well,
okay,
on
good.
my phone. So yeah, I'm looking at 8-4. I say, just worst, just their floor.
The worst case scenario.
LSU, Georgia, Florida, and I think even with their ceiling, I think they're going to lose a game that they weren't supposed to. Last year, they weren't supposed to lose to Kentucky or Florida. They did that. I think there's going to be maybe Oklahoma, maybe a
Yeah,
South
I was
Carolina.
about to say Oklahoma because it's on the road.
A
You're South.
very sneaky team that can pull them away. But I really think Austin Simmons is the catalyst for this team. I think they are good in literally every position. I mean, they have just regrouped in the portal. I mean, they didn't rebuild, they just reloaded with guys in the portal. They had so many good pickups, and this is a great Ole Miss team. But Austin Simmons, another guy just like Ty Simpson, where we haven't seen him play a lot of football. He was behind a first round quarterback in Jackson Dart. He didn't really get to touch the ball a whole lot, and when he did, it really wasn't meaningful snaps, very many. So I think they're going to lose a game, but honestly, I think this team could win. This game could go 10-2. I mean, they really could. I definitely can see them beating Florida. Obviously, they're going to be mad after last year, but just watch out for Georgia, Oklahoma, and then that South Carolina game as well is really big for them. But I think that they could go 10-2. I think they can go 8-4. But I do think they're going to lose a game that they weren't supposed to.
Well, like I agree with you. I think that obviously can always kind of sneak up. And Tulane seems to be the obvious one because Tulane just added what is it, Jake Retz? Right, I can forget the name from BYU. Tulane always plays Ole Miss and other teams very well. However, I think that's almost too easy. It's almost too much of some to where they're not going to overlook them. I got to tell you, Austin, I think Ole Miss is going to start 6-0. I think and I have LSU winning the national championship, by the way, but they have them at home, and there's something about there's just something in consistency with coaching staff that I think is something that's helpful. They're going on the road at Kentucky. That's not going to be a problem. Like I know last year was not to be expected. I don't think Arkansas is going to do well this year. I think because the writing's kind of on the wall for what's going to happen. Even the other day, one of the reporters was saying this. What did he say? It's not year 6 under Sam Pittman's not exciting or something like that. He said that to Sam Pittman. And so anyway, and then LSU is going to kind of that toughest toughest of that bunch because Washington State's not going to be the same team after losing everybody. So I actually think they're going to start out 6-0, and going on the road against Georgia is going to be a top 10 matchup where Pat McAfee's ringing, being crazy in Athens. Man, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think he's gonna be singing the "Who's That Coming Down the Track" song, the Georgia song.
Yeah.
Man, I think you're exactly right. I think you're spot on. I think that I don't know. You know what? Now I think they're gonna lose against LSU. I don't think they're beating LSU. Garrett Nussmeier coming back. I don't like that matchup for Ole Miss. And there's no shot they're beating Georgia in Athens. There's no shot, man. Georgia.
I
just
wouldn't say
doesn't
there's
lose
no
at home.
shot. No
Man,
shot.
I'm telling you, man, I don't know about Gunnar Stockton. I'm really, really nervous about how he's going to be as a quarterback. I didn't love what I saw last season, but man, I don't like them against LSU or Georgia, man. I just think that with Garrett Nussmeier, I think that he's going to be on top of it. I think Brian Kelly is. I think that after last year, man, I feel like he's mad. I just feel like they're going to come out with a fire this year.
Mad.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But he did. But yeah, I think that they're going. I think LSU's a playoff team, like you said. I don't have them winning the national championship or anything. I do think they're a playoff team, and they go to the playoffs by beating a team like Ole Miss, where they might have not been able to. And they like a lot of people had Ole Miss winning. Give me LSU in that game. So even 5-1 though, they're still going to be probably a top 15 team because LSU is going to be a top 10 team as well. So that's going to be a huge game, Georgia and Ole Miss. But yeah. I think 6-0 is definitely a possibility. But I'm saying 5-1.
I think, yeah, and we'll obviously look whenever the ball is finally kicked off, then you finally have some, okay, this is what this team's going to be like. It's what this team's going to be like. But how things look at the moment, I think Ole Miss is going to make the playoff, and they're going to start off really well. I think they things could go off the track later on, but I at this moment I have Ole Miss making the playoff, and we can have a little surprise kind of playoff preview show before things kick off because we got several shows before week 1 kicks off at least. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're actually going to look, and I'll share my screen. We're going to look at LSU's schedule, and I want to know from you in the comments on Twitter, wherever, what is going to happen with LSU's schedule? Like, what's their ceiling? Where's their floor? We'll talk about all those things and more whenever we come back. You're listening to MyDawgsPod, presented by MPW Digital. You're listening to MyDawgsPod on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. Could never, ever get that confused. Heath Riles Barbecue, grill with confidence, season like a pro. We'll be right back after this.
All MPW Digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW
on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. So, Austin, I have LSU winning the national championship, and at SEC Media Days is I voted for them to be able to win the conference championship. I think from top to bottom they're really good, and especially a place where no one's talking about it. They went overhaul in the portal when it came to the wide receiver position. Barryon Brown, they got Nick Anderson from Oklahoma. They obviously they have Cam Duran coming back at running back, Nussmeier back, the offensive line that's really solid, Harold Perkins Jr., Whit Weeks on defense. Like they seem to completely reload. They got a really big game to start off the season at Clemson, but I think they're going to win that. And kind of looking at this kind of matchup here, I do have them losing against Ole Miss, and losing in Tuscaloosa is certainly a possibility. But I think that might be where they kind of get over the hump. But after that, you have a lot of wins on here. I feel like. I did want to point out, I know someone that has that plays Southeastern Louisiana, and it's just kind of funny. It's like, man, he plays Division II football. That's so fun. And then you see he's got to go at night in Baton Rouge. It really puts things into perspective when you know actual people that you're like, dude, you really are going to have any plays on the offensive line. You really are going to have to line up and try to see if you can stop Harold Perkins off the edge, at night. That's no fun. But do you see a big red flag, Austin, in saying that they could win a national championship with this schedule? Do you see where things could go off the realms so that they don't even make the playoff?
No, I feel confident in saying they're going to make the playoff. I don't think they're going to be Clemson, though. I think Cade Klubnik and Dabo Swinney, I think they're going to have it going on this year. I have Clemson going, having a great year, and ACC potentially going 11-1. I think they might just lose one game, especially with the ACC, the way their schedule is. But, I mean, they play Florida, they play Ole Miss, they play Alabama. Oklahoma obviously is a good game every year, but I like them to make the playoff. I just don't know how deep they're going to go in the playoff, but I really think I like them. It's in Baton Rouge against Florida, DJ Lagway. That's going to be a tough game. Night game in Baton Rouge for DJ Lagway. I think that is going to be a very, very tough game. I think LSU is going to win that. Like I said, I think they're going to beat Ole Miss. South Carolina is a toss-up game, but I really like LSU in that game as well. And I think Bama's going to beat them. I really do. I like Bama against LSU because it's in Tuscaloosa. In Tuscaloosa, man, Bama's going to be fired up for that game. That's going to be a very, very important game for Caleb DeBoer to win. And then I like them against Oklahoma as well. So I definitely think that they could go in 10-2 to the playoff, and we'll see if they go to the SEC championship with how it's going to line up. But I really like them going to the playoff. I think that's a great take.
Yeah, that's kind of the big question is can you get to 10-2? And also, I mean, even if you lose that game against Clemson, if you keep winning, through the SEC, then you're going to be fine. Then you get to the conference championship, and they're not going to penalize you for making that game. You would hope, right? that'd be the worst. You lose that game, and they're like, well, you would have been in better shape had you not played it. I don't think they're going to punish them for that, but I could be wrong. But I don't know. I just from top to bottom, man, I think that LSU they just have so many weapons, and again, offensively, no one is talking about what they have at the running back position. I just think there's so many weapons for them there. So we'll pause there, but we want to let you know that we will be back later on this week with 3 shows per week all the way throughout. And so the way that'll work whenever the actual season rolls around is we'll have kind of a show like today. We'll recap some stuff at Mississippi State around the SEC. Thursday, we'll talk about kind of the matchup that Mississippi State has for the weekend, as well as other kind of national storylines. And then we'll have a post-game show that we call What Went Right, What Went Wrong for Mississippi State after each game. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, for watching. If you're from Starkville, from around the state of Mississippi, from anywhere else, man, thank you guys. And hey, listen, please follow us on Twitter. It's just at MyDawgsPod, and comment on our takes here. Can Ole Miss start 6-0? Can LSU win the national title? These are some hot takes. But I'll tell you what, man, you keep the hot times rolling if you're around the grill and you have some Heath Riles barbecue. Heath Riles Grill with Confidence, season like a pro. We'll also keep you up to date with that whenever we have Heath Riles on here in the next little bit. So thank you guys so much for listening. We'll holler at you next time.